So you wrap up training,
Mm-hmm.
you make it, you go over to dev group. Did you have any hiccups there? What was the hardest part for you? I heard a lot of guys have a lot of problems with air and then the CQC portion.
We almost froze to death. Like on towards the end, like I forgot we were doing like winter warfare or we were doing like mobility in elevation change, and I remember like taking off in like a t-shirt, and like 3 hours later, like a couple of the guys were like, "Hey, make sure Marcus doesn't freeze to death."
So you wrapped up that deployment, come back home. What happened
Come back
next?
home. It was a nice homecoming, because it was a really rough, beginning of 2005, or say summer of 2005. Yeah, when we got back, Amber, my wife, threw a big ass party. She was happy to have us back, She bought me a kegerator. It was great. Had everyone over and celebrated that we came back, but, we're still, humbled that we lost a lot of friends on that deployment. And so, but that's what we did, right? In the teams, we celebrated loss, celebrated victory. We still, we drank hard.
Yep. Deal with everything
And
the
bonded.
exact same way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember those days. But so where did you go next? Did you continue on with Team 10 or?
Yeah, so I did two deployments, 2 pumps at Team 10. I'd actually screened for Dev Group a year prior to that, and they just said, like, they told me I was good to go. They said, just go finish your second deployment and you can come over next year. And so I came back, hung out in ops for a while with Josh, Josh Harris, him and I, and we prepared. I'd say proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Him and I really focused on getting ourselves ready for selection. And so we worked out together, we shot together, we did many trips to all the CQC trips that other platoons were going to. Like, we wanted to be good. And I would say we were better prepared than anyone. Like, we really, really focused on that for a while after we got back from the 05 deployment.
Yeah.
And then I went to selection in 2006. I don't know how much you want to go into that or.
Well, did you find out? Did you have any hiccups there? What was the hardest part for you? I heard a lot of guys have a lot of problems with air and then the CQC portion.
It's fun. Oh man, what did I have trouble with? We almost froze to death. Like on towards the end, like we I forgot we were doing like winter warfare or we were doing like mobility in elevation change, and I remember like taking off in like a t-shirt, and like 3 hours later, like a couple of the guys were like, "Hey, make sure Marcus doesn't freeze to death because he's like talking gibberish and he can't tie his shoes." Like I didn't have that experience of being in that environment. Like I just never did it before. And it was kind of funny because, yeah, I was fucked. Like, I thought I had it, and the weather like got cold, it snowed, and thank God I had some really good people around me that took care of me. That was like I would say the only like really tough part I had with Green Team. Other than that, I didn't,
So you were very well prepared.
I was prepared. I wanted to be there. And I did real well. Yeah, I did very well, and that's all I cared about. Like nothing mattered in the world ever. That was it. And I tell people though, I really struggled shooting a long gun, like not a long gun, but a M4, which we were going through training with. Or I'm trying to think, I think we may have had 416s at the time, HK. Yeah. I know we got them, but you get rated on your every day. It's like wide open. It's very transparent, which I love. It's not anymore about how tough you are. It's like how good you are. So you would get ranked in your shooting, your time and stuff. And I remember initially on the HK, like I think I was after the first couple of days, maybe, or the first week. I forgot what it was. I was like dead last in my scoring.
Oh, wow.
Of the whole class. Like, and there's some people there, like, you lose 50% of the class. But I was first in the pistol. So like the pistol, for some reason when I never shot a weapon, by the way. I grew up playing ball. I didn't even know how to turn a wrench before I got in the teams. I grew up in Long Island, like, lifeguarding, playing ball and whatever else. Wearing tight shirts and gold chains. Jersey Shore, right? No, so like I never shot. But for me, a pistol, it was completely natural. I was a very good pistol shot. Matter of fact, in my first platoon, you learn how to shoot a pistol in buds, but like how much? Not a whole lot. But we go to our CQC block of training, and I remember beating some of the instructors in Metal Mania and some of the other stuff. And like, who the fuck is this new guy? I was the only new guy in my first platoon too, that's a whole nother story. But I remember beating some of the instructors that had been in the teams for like 10 or 12 years. I'm like, hey guys, I don't know. The pistol thing comes natural to me. But my point to this, the rifle, I really had to work. Like I had to like grind and do extra hours and starting out last, I ended up in the top 10, but it was a struggle. But all it was is like, I didn't really have good, I just needed I needed someone to watch me, and just watch what I was doing. And it just took the guy who ran that place, just gave me some tips when I was like in dead last. And it was just enough for me to, once I learn, I tell people it takes me a long time sometimes to like figure stuff out. But once I learn, I'm a very good learner, like I shoot past a lot of people, because like I got it now. But getting there sometimes takes me a while. And that's how it was with the rifle, man. It was like, I'm like, what am I doing wrong with this thing? Like I can't hit shit, But then, and then I wound up being okay. I an average shooter with that. But
how many guys did you start training with? Roughly
80,
80,
70 or 80. Yeah. And
how many
lose
guys?
about half.
You lost half.
Yeah. Great guys too,
Yeah.
Just for whatever reasons, unprepared or maybe, safety issues, maybe some personality issues. But it's just great. You'd think, we were super aggressive, but I feel like also very reserved too. You didn't really have to, there's no reason to have an ego, even though there's a lot of ego over there.
Oh yeah.
But you know what I'm trying to say is that
I know what you mean.
you don't have to tell anybody that you've been to you scored, 30 touchdowns last year. Like everybody just kind of knows that you scored 30 touchdowns. So if you tell people that, like they think you're an asshole or just a bigger asshole. So I think a lot of people think you got this different personality, but I almost think it's almost the opposite, where it's a little bit more reserved.
So you wrap up training,
Mm-hmm.
you make it, you go over to Dev Group. For those of you that don't know, Dev Group is SEAL Team 6, which is the most elite SEAL team on the planet.
I'm glad you said it because, I still am uncomfortable saying those words, but like I get it, I get it. The first time I started using that word more is when I separated from the teams in 2013. My first real business mentor and friend. He was a Royal Marine investment banker for 30 years, and he was cleaning up my resume. And he goes, Marcus, he's like, what the fuck is a Dev Group? I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, that's where I worked. He's like, yeah. He goes, if you went to Harvard, would you put that on your resume? I'm like, well, duh. He goes, okay. He's like, how am I supposed to get you a job when you kind of went to the Harvard of what you did in your military career, but you don't put it on your resume? I'm like, I said, that's a good point, Damien. He's okay. Well, like, I need to clean this up for you. And just like, okay. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. So that's kind of how I kind of understood it, where here I am trying to compete with everybody in the private sector now, military guys and whatever. And he said, hey man, you gotta like put something out there to try to separate yourself from others.
Yeah.
And if you didn't go to Harvard and you've never done this before, like, how am I supposed to get you a job?
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of how that started. So I get it. You know, it's what I did. And I don't love talking about it, but I understand, you know, if I don't give, you know, tactics away, and I don't talk about friends that have been there or still there, you know, really, I try to do my best job of not beating my chest and not breaking the code, you know, in a way. But
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, if I could talk about what I did in my prior life, you know, that helps others, and what we're doing here is just telling my story, then I'm good with that.
It's just humility, you
Yeah.
know, but you do, and I, you know, the code is, you know, you don't talk about it, or you don't, but you do it very tastefully.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Thank you.
you're definitely not a chest pounder. And I knew if I didn't say that, you sure as hell weren't going to. And
I despise those types.
Yeah. So,
As you do. So
yeah. But so what
Yeah.
did it feel like getting over there
Yeah.
finally?
no, it was good. I was, you know, super excited, ready to work with, you know, good people. Not that I didn't work with good people. I worked with fucking incredible people, amazing people. It was just different, you know. It was the next chapter, right? And,
Yep.
and very busy, right? From 2006 to 10, it was fucking busy, but it was awesome.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.